Hey everyone, this 120 Prado has done nearly 500,000 Ks, 400 and something, and it's in for a bit of routine maintenance. What is the routine at 500,000 kilometres? Have a look at the engine. It doesn't have oil leaks still. Bit of from the oil change coming out the tube from the oil filter. Oh, it does have oil leaks. Well, that's what we're having a look at now. See possibly a bit of oil coming out that front diff at the drive shaft seal there. They could be just old and worn. Could have had some dirt and dust in there. What do you reckon? This vehicle's been around. That's what it was purchased and what it gets used for, travelling outback Australia. So he's made the wise decision. It's time, although expensive, it's time to put some love on the vehicle. Now it's going to get new genuine front diff seals in the front here at both sides. The other one will be around here. It's not leaking. And the drive shafts, although I've said, see that grease there? It's kind of normal, not a big deal. If you can't afford to do it yet, don't do it. But eventually, you know, the grease is coming out, they're going to wear, and new ones are going to be better. And the key important thing is here, it's done 500,000 Ks, and I'm pretty sure he'd be happy to get another 500,000 Ks out of it, and that'll see him out. You know, let's hope he's not driving too much, or I've said the wrong thing. But I don't know what he's going to do as far as replacing the vehicle when there's nothing really better to replace it with. But slowly spending the money on it's less painful than just replacing with a new vehicle that, you know, then you're afraid to park it at the shops because someone's about to bloody hit you as they come flying into the next car park. You know what I mean, don't you, right? It's got the K-on upgrade. So we're going to get these drive shafts out. Pretty straightforward job, you know, tie rod ends out and, you know, a few bits and pieces like that. I can't even remember how to do this stuff, you know. It's been a while. You'll have to watch the other videos and work it out, because we've already showed them how to do stuff like this, haven't we? You know, the cap's got to come off, and the nut, and, you know, the brake caliper and stuff like that. We're going for new genuine drive shafts. They are very expensive, but once again, those set have done 500,000 Ks, so it doesn't seem like a bad idea to pay the Toyota tax when you know how long they're going to last, and they're the strongest available. Now, the tip that I want to give you at this point is, this is the seals for the 120 Prado for the diff seals, right? As you can see, I've got left and right written on the bags, whatever. These from your dealer are about 40 bucks each, so they're not cheap. The tip is, these drive shafts, they've changed, the ends have changed, so the old nut and cage thing you've got isn't going to work with a split pin. You do need to buy these nuts. Haven't got the part number right now, but I did show it in another video, and I'll probably show it again later. And obviously you use these nuts and you just pin it over, and that is your lock nut. It's got the little cutout slot, what do you call it, on the end of the drive shaft. We'll show you a bit later in the video, but just thought I'd give you that tip early and say hang around, because there could be more important information.
The angle, that's a problem.
That's it, beautiful. Beautiful. You might wonder why we're taking these top ball joints separating from the steering knuckle. It's pretty simple, because to get the drive shaft out, we need to take these two bolts here out, and we've never had two bolts so tight, and we believe it's just going to round off. You can see the punishment we've already given it. We've tried the big bar, we've tried the gun on heavy Newton meters, and we believe it's either going to round off the nut or snap the bolt off, which is a drama that the customer doesn't need and the extra expense of that. So what we're going to do is try and swing the top out to get the drive shaft out, which we haven't done it this way before, so it's a learning process for us, and it's a good video for you guys, because if this happens to you when you're doing yours, you might need to know whether this is going to work or not. Worst case scenario, maybe we need to take the 4 bolts and remove the bearing as well for a bit more room. We don't know, like I said, we haven't done it this way before. It's a new thing. Bada bing, bada boom, baby. Stay tuned. We've got the inner pushed all the way in, right? That's butted all the way in. We've got an angle on this. We've got this as far as we can out. And no, it's not going to quite make it out doing it that way. So we're going to have to keep thinking outside the square, because we don't want to damage that seal, because that got replaced with the wheel bearings when that happened. So we're being careful to avoid that, but this is the situation. The next one is we're thinking about putting that back in there to see if we can get the inner end out first. Not sure if that's going to work. Anyway, more thinking time for us. Okay, so we've discussed it and we've worked out, we measured up the new shaft. There's not much more distance left to get that end out first and put the new shaft in and then whatever. We could maybe do it, but we're going to do a lot of mucking around to work out if we can do it, and it's risky to damaging the seals at either end. We're putting new seals in there, so we don't want to do that. So next drama, so I said the only other thing we can do is bottom bolt out of the strut and take the whole lower control arm off. Sounds pretty straightforward, doesn't it? But if those upside down bolts down here on all 4 of them won't come undone, that doesn't mean these are going to come undone either, but we're going to try that. So we're going to mark position of these and try and get all the lower control arms, drop the whole assembly out and do it that way. So yeah, fun and games at the Prada Hospital. Well, the old apprentice toolkit came to the end on this one, but got a couple of replacements, so happy days. This is what it looks like when all the drama's really happening, when we're doing full surgery here at the Prada Hospital. Yes, the floor does get dirty. And yes, there is new drive shafts in there at this stage. See what I mean about the new nut? They've got the slot on the shaft, and you've got to put the, yeah, it's a different setup to the old cage nut arrangement. Yeah, so this is the old arrangement where you torqued up the nut, and then this, I call it the cage, and the split pin goes through the middle. So they've changed to the new system, different system. So like I said, if you order those shafts, you need to also order the nut. Just about everything has been pulled out of this front end to get this drive shaft in there. I'll give you the rundown quickly what actually went down off camera, obviously, when you got to get things done. So we loosened up, we marked the position of these. Will still need to be double checked, but we marked the position of those to put them back where they were. They were seized, but we managed to free them all up except for this one. So this side, what happened was, I don't know if I showed in the camera before, I think we had it stretched out, and the shaft, the old shaft, just didn't clear to come out the back without hitting the seal. But what we did work out though, although we couldn't drop the whole arm out of this side, with it loose, both sides loose, the adjuster was still turning with the control arm because it's seized, but the arm went down far enough to increase the distance so that you could get that out. So that happened, that's what happened at this side. So not ideal, but it still happened, just a lot of mucking around. And over this side, as it all worked out, as you can see, yeah, it's all sort of come loose. They're always problematic quite often on vehicles that get used off-road. Just remember when you do your trips and stuff, when you come back, give the vehicle a really good wash, plenty of water up around this bushes area, both front and rear, both sides of the vehicle. And it's probably not a bad idea to give them a spray every now and then, give them some treatment, bit of, what is it, inox, whatever, the MX4 or something like that. Let it soak in there, and just hopefully that'll give you some, you know, be able to get them apart one day. And the other thing, of course, what we do is we put the copperies on there to help. The plan is that that'll help them not seize up, because Toyota obviously put them together dry. This is the stuff, right? Copperies, bada bing, bada boom. So once it all goes back together and everything's nice and tight, and these need to be tightened up on the ground as well to help prevent twist on those bushes, same as this bush at the bottom here. There's not much percentage twist in that with that arm going up and down, but it's still worth the final tighten in the neutral position on the ground. So basically what I do is tighten them all up and drop it on the ground, and then just loosen them and tighten them again, sort of thing. So that way everything's all pulled in nice and tight while it's in the air when you're in a good comfy position, because once the weight of the vehicle's on the ground, it can put pressure on things, and the bolt maybe isn't all the way in, and it'll probably pull in when you tighten up nuts and stuff. But watch the videos on the suspension, in the suspension playlist, if you want to be mucking around with these bolts, because e.g. the front one you undo from the bolt at the front here, and at the back one here, don't try and turn the bolt, you got to turn the nut from the back. So if you just remember at the outside, so at the back and at the front, because it's a bit opposite to each other, this one you loosen the bolt, that one you loosen the nut. Watch those videos and you'll get what I mean. We'll get this thing back together. Should be pretty straightforward now, a bit more cleaning up, checking, tightening, repairing, whatever, but the majority of the job is getting there. New diff seals are in, new drive shafts are in. So bada bing. All right, the last thing I'm going to say about this job, and that's why here in the Prada Hospital there's no fixed prices on any job. It's always, it's about this. There's lots of variables, and there is lots of variables, and not just how the job turns out. So bada bing, bada boom, I'll give you an estimate. Usually it comes in at the estimation, at least 95% of the time, but every now and then this happens, and extra work's extra work, simple as that. So watch the video, and that's why you watch all the videos to the end, because when this happens to you, when you're trying to do your shafts at home, you're going to have much lower stress levels. If you've watched the video and you're aware that this is the sort of thing that could happen on both lower control arms, on these upside down bolts at the bottom, worry about that some other time when they've got to come off. Now we're aware of it, we can be better positioned for this vehicle. We'll let the customer know where it's at in case they ever do need to actually come out, and they will at some point. So we need to be able to have maybe spare steering knuckles or spare bolts, or we just really don't know what's going to happen. Get a whole heap of heat into them and see what happens. But today, bada bing, bada boom, wasn't happening. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video. See ya.